Hey, you guys. Happy Sunday. Hope you're having a good day. So, today, as promised, we're going to be doing a very simple and easy Halloween look. Tomorrow will be more detailed, but this is what we're looking like right now. If you'd like to see how I did this, you can always doll it up how you want, but this is it for tonight. If you want to see how I did it, then just keep on watching. Happy Halloween weekend, guys. Alright, you guys, so I'm going to be using these 3 palettes tonight, but use whatever palettes that you have on hand, and you can mix up the colors however you want, but I wanted to do something for Halloween since it's tomorrow, and I wanted to do an easier look and then a more detailed look tomorrow for you guys. So I'm using the Anastasia Subculture palette, which has a really nice deep colors, like dark colors, so pretty. Then I'm using the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop Orange Sherbet palette, which is all a bunch of oranges, perfect for pumpkin season. And then also the Glamlight Margarita palette, which has a bunch of fun, this is like spring colors, but I still like to use it for certain colors. So this is what we're going to be doing tonight. Just a super simple, easy, blended out kind of look. You can always add details, whatever you guys want. So I already primed. You guys know I love using, if I can find it, my e.l.f. primer. These are like $2-3 at Walgreens, Walmart. I love these. They do go quickly, so you do have to stock up on them a lot, but I really like how they don't look choppy on my eye or stuff like that. So, and it like dries down, and I put a little bit of this powder on top of it just to make it more seamless when you blend. So this is the Kimchi Puff Puff Pass Set and Bake Powder and Translucent. I love this powder. It is amazing. I already have my base done, but I did not powder my face yet because see how I cut this right here? I'm going to show you something that I do that is super easy in case you're just getting into makeup. So I already did that. So whatever brushes you want to use, I'm using some smaller, more detailed brushes just because I have hooded eyes. As you can see, I have hooded eyes, very small eyes, so I'm still learning that smaller brushes help me with more precision. So we're going to get started. I'm going to start with the yellow color, and the yellow color is in the Glamlight Margarita palette. If you don't have these palettes, like I said, just find similar colors or spice it up and do what you like. This is the color right here that I'll be using. It's called Tasty Mango. And I'm going to grab a very small brush just to get us started. This Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush. This was at like TJ Maxx for a really good deal, so I snagged it. They do have some left, so go check your TJ Maxx and Marshalls. And I'm just going to dip into that and bang it off. And I'm just going to go right into that inner corner area right here. Now, it doesn't look like a lot of pigment all at once just because I'm just getting started with it. I'm not doing any transition colors right now just because I'm trying to get the orange and the yellow to flow as best as possible. But as you can see, it does build up really nicely. So I'm just going to continue to do that. I'm just doing little swivel motions, little circular motions. If you have hooded eyes, smaller brushes are the way to go. It just is easier than using like a big brush like this. I will be using this for the further part of my eye, but going in with this, you get it all over your nose and stuff. So a tip that I highly suggest for small or hooded eyes, go in with these really tiny detailing brushes. It just makes it a heck of a lot easier. I used to use the big brushes and it was so difficult all the time, and I always wonder why I had to mess up. Why did I mess up? And it was because I was using way too big of brushes for the size of my eyes. It's very hard to find a palette, especially with bright yellows. This yellow is like a yellowy orange just because I wanted it to be yellow into orange, but bright yellows are hard to find with good pigment. So Glamlight has a really good pigmentation with their colors, which I really like. Even like these neon colors here, really nice. Even like pastel colors, their pigments are really, really nice. So as you can see, I'm just keep going, and I'm just going to keep doing that, and I'm just going to even go right here. Just like that, just circular it out to make my eye look like that in that motion. Because my eyes are not the same shape. Yeah, issues. Hooded, not the same shape. Issues. So you just got to play with it. You got to see what works for your eye shape, and you kind of make them look similar. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it exact on the dot. Just whatever, you know, works for you in your eye shape. So I'm just going to continue that in little circular motions. Okay, so now that I got it about halfway, I'm actually grabbing this Japanese brush, and it's a little bit bigger, well, a little bit bigger, but it's still pretty narrow. I'm going to go right into that yellow again. I'm just going to go and start packing it on to get that really bright pigment that I want. The orange is going to overlap it, but I still want that yellow to shine through right in the inner corner area. So I'm just doing that because right here there is enough room for me to use a little bit bigger of a brush. That way I can pack it on a little bit more. And I am trying to blend out very slightly the edges. I'm not going crazy with it because this is not more, this is more like, not super blown out kind of look, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. So I'm just literally going to pack on that pigment until it's the pigment that I want. Okay, so now that I got the pigment that I want, now I'm going to dip back into that yellow with that same Japanesque brush. Now I'm going to blend it out just the slightest amount at the edges, just so it doesn't look super harsh. But I'm not going out for this super blown out blended look. Sorry about the lighting, you guys. I'm trying to figure it out. Like, nothing I've been dealing with is working, so I will aim to fix that, but now I'm sorry. But I'm just blending it out a little bit, and now we're going to add the orange. So I have another one of those Japanesque brushes. I really like these brushes. They last a very long time, and they're very good to work with. I'm going to stay with the Margarita palette for one more second, just for this orange right here. It's called Tamarind. And I'm just going to start by getting that a little bit overlap in the yellow. That way, when we get the brighter orange here, you have a blended effect instead of just a bam spot of orange. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to literally tap on it and bang it off and just literally start going over that yellow overlay and just blending it ever so slightly. I'm barely putting any pressure on the brush whatsoever. And I'm just going to keep doing that for a little bit just so I can get an overlap of those colors without it looking splotchy or looking like I just plopped it right on. Now we're going to take the BH Cosmetics Orange Sherbet Palette, and I'm going to go in with this orange right here. This one's called Zest. This palette is so pretty. I love this palette. I love the oranges. They're so pigmented, so pretty. And I'm using the same brush. I'm going to bang it off to start with, and I'm just going to start back here actually. Just so I don't have the largest amount of the brush is what you touch with your skin first. So I'm literally going to start back here and then blend it out so that way the least amount of color goes on that yellow. Just like I said, you don't want it to be, because the most pigment is when you first put down your brush onto your eyelid. You don't want it going all in one place too much on that yellow or it'll look really splotchy. So literally just going along, blending, blending, blending. Literally going to start packing on a little bit more orange at a time, a little bit at a time though, because otherwise it'll go way too crazy all at once. So like I said, my eyes are different shapes, so I have to kind of make them very similar. So I have to keep an eye on it so that I'm not going too far with this eye or it looks very silly. I still can't believe it's Halloween tomorrow. Like, where the heck has the time gone, you guys? What are you guys being for Halloween? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. What are your kiddos being? Are you guys going trick-or-treating? Do you have any plans? Let me know. And I'm just going to keep building that up until the orange pigment is to how I want it. So this is where I am at right now. I got it to the amount of orange that I wanted at that moment. So next what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this e.l.f. Eyeshadow brush. And I'm just going to tap, I'm using the same brush as I used for this side. That's why I'm not using so many brushes. That's why it has orange on it already. But I'm literally going to take that same orange Zest and put it all over my eyelids. Just packing it on. I'm not worried about precision or anything. Literally just putting it on all over this eyelid right now. Just so it looks like that. Like I said, it doesn't have to be crazy perfect because you're going to put glitter over it anyway. It's just to have like a little baseline for that. So that is where we are at right now. Like I said, it doesn't look perfect or anything, but we'll get there. Trust the process. So we're at this point right now. If you notice that your line right here, that you notice a sharp line between your colors, go back into your yellow with your yellow brush, with the brush used for the yellow. Tap back into that yellow and literally just try to blend out that seam. That way it doesn't look so harsh. I've learned that because, you know, I still do it. So it sometimes can be frustrating, especially with super pigmented colors, because then they kind of get a little splotchy if you don't go super light-handed. So that's all you have to do. Nothing crazy. You don't have to erase your whole eye. Just go with it. It'll work. All right. So the next color that we're going to dive into is this color right here called Extra Toppings from the Orange Sherbet palette. And I'm going to go in with this brush right here to start off with. I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. crease brush right here. Whoop! Hello! My son and the kitty. Say hello. Where's the fat boy? Bring the fat boy.
Fat boy?
We are watching some kittens, so Yeah. It's been a ride. But I'm taking the e.l.f. crease brush right here. It's nice and small. Like I said, smaller brushes makes you get into better, like for smaller eye shapes. It works wonderfully. I'm going to use that extra toppings, and I'm going to go into that. This has more like a red-orange. I'm going to bang it off, and I'm going to start going right towards the end right here, towards this outer corner area. Just like this, and start blending it upwards. Oh, there he is! Just that Sid. We have Odie that you just saw before that. Look how chunky he is. Chunky boy. But yes, it's been a joyous ride with them. Magic in them. It's been interesting. Happy Halloween, everybody. This is our house. We're about to go to a haunted house, so we gotta be quick. So I'm literally...
quick. I'm already ready.
Yeah, you gotta dry your hair, son. So I literally am going in the outer corner here and kind of bringing it up. Not all the way to the end, but just slightly. And I'm going to blend it out as I go. So I'm just literally using the small brush and going in little zigzags and then little mini circles with the brush. Just like that. And I'm also going to bring this might look a little weird, but trust the process. I'm going to go up here, just above where my natural crease is. Like, I don't have a very pronounced crease, like high crease in my eyes, so I'm literally just following it. And I'm going to blend it just like this, just into that orange. It'll make sense once you get it to this. Right now it looks a little crazy, but I promise you guys, you gotta trust your process. And I'm just going to go down again with it, little bits at a time, that way I'm not putting too much color all at once. And we're getting somewhere. Looks a little crazy. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a brush with nothing on it, with absolutely no color on it at all. I'm just using a Morphe brush that I got, I think it was the Morphe Lisa Frank. And I'm literally just going in that area right here and just blending it out. It has no pigment on it at all. It's just to help kind of mesh the colors better. And I'm just going to go all over the eye just to make sure everything is distributed well. So, alright, we're looking good, we're looking good. We're going to put a darker color on there so it'll all come together. So, I want the yellow more pronounced over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that brush that I have the yellow on, go back to that yellow color, boop, boop, go back in, and then I'm just going to go around and start blending out the edges with that yellow. Tapping off my brush as I go, just like this. And you'll see this starts to blend out the orange into the yellow towards the edges. That way you have a ring around your eye, like that. So, I'm just going to keep going like that. Like I said, this is like the easy ways to do it. If you're a beginner and stuff like this, this is helpful. That way you're not struggling with the blending process, because it could be a pain. It could be a pain. It's time consuming. So I'm trying to think of a look that, you know, doesn't have to be super blended, but can also look pretty. So that's what I'm just going to do. I'm going to go around very slightly until it's blended out to the way I want it. So now I got it to where I want it that way. So we're going to go in with a little bit deeper of a color now. So we're going to go into the Anastasia Subculture palette. I'm going to go into this color right here called All Star. It has like a little purple brownish hue to it. I love it. It's so pretty. And I'm going to use a small brush. Grab this. This was from Profusion. I tried to find this brush kit again. It's no longer available. This was like years ago. I love this brush because it works so well for blending and packing on. It's just really nice, and it's, see how it's tipped at the top? I like this brush, but of course they get rid of them. Of course, right? So I'm going to go into that very lightly and tap it off, and I'm going to start going in my outer corner again. We are going to put the glitter down after this. It's just I want to get this started. Literally just, I put it down first, and then I'm going to gently blend it. I'm barely putting any pressure again. So this is where we're at. And we're also going to bring it up a little bit, very slightly, not too much. Just literally going little zigzags and then bringing it over ever so slightly. You don't want to bring it all the way up. See how you want to bring it right about to the top, but not fully. And then you're going to blend it out with a different brush. I like using this brush right here. I'm just going to go back in there and buff out those edges. That way they're nice and smooth, as you can see. I have a crease right there, so that's why it looks darker right there, but it's just a crease. I'm going to go back in again. Make sure I get some pigment in there. And bring it up like I said, but not all the way up. Bring it over right to the middle of the eye, like right about here. I'm gonna bring it all the way out, almost to the edge of the outer corner as well. So we're getting just like that kind of shape. That way it kind of like wings out. And then I'm gonna blend it with that brush again. There's no color on this brush whatsoever. Like I used it for the orange, I'm using it for this color now. Going side to side very gently with it. All right, it's not fully done yet because we're gonna put the glitter on next. So I'm gonna put these brushes to the side and grab a setting mist, whatever setting mist you like. This one is at Marshall's. It's the MAC Prep and Prime Fix in Pink Light. It has like sparkly glitter in it, so I don't like the glitter as much. I wish it was the original, but I like to use this because this really does well at applying glitter. So I'm going to be using the glitter from this palette right here because this glitter is gorgeous. But use whatever glitter you want. I'm going to go in with this one right here, the citrine one. So pretty. Grab a flat brush. So I'm just using this one. It's from MOTD. I never know how to say that, so let me know in the comments. But I'm literally going to dip into the shadow. You don't have to use concealer or anything for this look. This is super easy. You're just going to pack it on your brush, pack it on your very thin, I like to use a thin pointed brush. Then you're going to spray it with your setting mist or priming mist, whatever. I usually like to use setting mist because it helps keep the makeup on, and then you're just going to follow your natural crease line. I like to start like about here and then point it in, just like that. And it just, with the setting mist, it just builds up a lot quicker than if you were to use it with a dry brush. Just be careful. I've noticed that when I do that, it does mess with the shadow in the pan, so it all depends on your preference. But if you don't want it this vibrant, you can always use your finger or a dry brush to apply it. I just like a lot of bam. I like a lot of glitter. So I'm literally just going to follow my natural line. And I'm going to swoop it up a little bit just because this look, I want it to be really glittery. That's going to be like our focal point besides that really nice dark, vibrant purpley color. So I'm literally going to, see how it's pointed? You could go right like this. And just make your crease. Because I have to make a bigger crease than what my natural crease is. Otherwise, nothing would show up. That is with hooded eyes. If you have a really small crease like me, like it's so low you wouldn't be able to see anything, make the crease look bigger by just going above your crease line. See how I made this look bigger by doing that? That way you can actually see the glitter. Otherwise you won't be able to see it. So just, you gotta bend the rules a little bit, you know what I mean? You gotta bend them. So I'm just gonna keep doing that, and I like to use these pointed brush because see, I could form that line and there won't be any splotchiness. So I'm gonna keep doing that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I put the glitter on, but I'm also gonna add a little bit darker of an orange as well in the middle. So I'm gonna grab a different one right here. This is just a Luna Magic brush. I'm gonna go into Tangy, which is right here. I'm gonna really pack it onto my brush, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna spray it with the MAC Fix spray, and then I'm gonna literally go lightly over the center. That way you're gonna see like a double color of orange, so from like a gradient light to dark, which is really pretty too. See how it does it on that side? And you're just gonna go all the way up the seam, very nice and lightly. Now if you feel like you put way too much, go back to your other brush and just put it on without spraying it and lightly dab it on and kind of blend it out that way. That way you're not worried about that. So we got a little bit of a gradient with the darker orange, so we're gonna go in with the darkest color now. We're gonna go back to the Subculture palette. We're gonna take our brush that we were using, this one right here. I'm gonna put a little bit of All Star, that purpley one that we used before, just a little bit, just so we can get a little bit of blending going. I'm putting the lightest amounts of pressure on this, just to put some over that glitter. And I'm gonna blend it out ever so slightly. I'm going to take that brush with nothing on it again, and just literally go side to side and then little circles, just to make sure it is all blended out over that glitter and everything. See how it's going to start coming together? See, it comes together. It just takes some time. Then we're going to go into this dark color right here. It's called Rowdy. It's like a deeper purple. I'm going to use the same brush from Profusion. This one you have to be a little careful with because it is super pigmented. I'm just going to go right in the outer corner right now. We're going to start right there. I'm going to slightly go up with it. See how it's deepening that really pretty color? Just going to blend it outwards and then up just till about there. See how we're getting the same shape as we have over here? Doesn't have to be perfect, remember that. See, super pretty. I'm just going to start blending, blending, blending. I'm going to take this brush now, like the slightest tap into that deep purple. I'm going to go over the seam right here where the glitter meets that purple. And I'm going to blend up with it. See, isn't that pretty? Such a pretty color. I love this palette. This Subculture palette, I didn't think I was going to like it because the colors at first kind of like intimidated me, but I love it now. Very nice, very pretty. And you're just going to kind of, see how I kind of brought it forward a little bit? I'm just going to bring it slightly forward. Because now that we got that really pretty deep color, oops. Okay. We're going to go back into that deep reddish orange. And you can use this brush, whatever brush you have. A nice fluffy blending brush. Tap it off and you're going to start going over this part right here. Just because I want that orange to put a little bit more into this outer area right here. All right, and this is where we are at. Pretty much all done. Now I want to show you what I do. Like I said, if you do your base and you don't powder your face yet, you could do this. Even if you did powder, you could do it. It just you might have to tap it with your finger. What I like to do is to make that line super straight. That's why I usually don't do my base before my eyes, but I want us to do it tonight. I'm going to take a Q-tip and I'm just going to take some micellar water. I'm going to lightly soak the Q-tip, not super soaked, but lightly dampen it, I guess. Then I like to tap some of the excess off my hand. That way it's not dripping down my done base. You know what I mean? The done foundation on my face. I'm going to literally make the line straight. So with this one, I did it right on an angle. So we're going to do the same thing here. Just like that right there. So that way you can straighten it to how you want it. Doesn't have to be exactly the same. Like I said, I don't have the same shape in both eyes, so it's not going to be exact. But this is what we're looking like. Isn't that nice? So takes it off. Then I would just make sure it is how you want it. Dry the section off. And then what I would do is go back in with your concealer brush. I would literally just tap it right below it or add a little bit more concealer to that area and you're good to go. So that is the top part. For the bottom, all that I did was I did the same thing. I got like a smudge brush. I started with the yellow, putting it all over the bottom. I bang it off and then I go all the way against the lower lash line up to the corner of the eye. And I brought it all the way to the inner corner. Then I'm going to go back in with the oranges that I used. So I'm going to go in with Zest and bring that all the way. Do the same thing. But I'm not going to bring it all the way to the inner corner. I'm just going to bring it to about here. So just like that. And then I'm going to go back into extra topping, which is that reddy orange. And do the same thing. Start from back here. And then bring it forward. So just like that. Just very lightly, not putting much pressure at all. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the Subculture palette and do the two purples. So the lightest purple first. I'm literally just going to put that all the way back here. And blend it like that. So we're like this right now. Then I'm going to take the deepest purple. Now you only need the smallest amount because it is super pigmented. And you're just going to bring it about to right here. Well, wherever you want on your eye. But I did it to about there. And I'm just going to blend it out a little bit with this brush. I'm going to go back into the yellow for the final time just to make sure that yellow that we used in the beginning, and I'm just going to bring it like this and blend out that dark color just a little bit so it's not super harsh. Just like that. See? What do you guys think? And you could dazz this up however you want. If you want to put winged liner, use some lashes. I'm going to throw on some mascara real quick, and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right, you guys, so I just put some mascara on. Like I said, you could put lashes, liner, whatever you want. I'm just going to a haunted house, so I'm not going to throw some lashes on, but this is the final look. I hope you guys liked this video. If you have any other ideas what you want to see, let me know. Stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow with a more detailed look. Have a good night.